Hi guys, in this tutorial we're going to be dealing with the Python program, and we'll be doing everything you need to know under this Python under ALX program. And the first thing we're going to be doing today, which will be the first video for today, is printing to the standard output using different string formats, printing string using different formats. So in order to print, we have three major formats. Okay, but before we start, let's make a directory and we'll call it python python course. Okay, and then let's cd into python course, cd into python course. Okay, clear. And then this code will be available on GitHub, and I'm going to put the link in the description where you can find the link to this code, or on the screen. Okay, so let's get started. So the first thing you need to know is how Python interprets the code you input. We all know that C is a compiled language and Python is an interpreted language. All right, so how does it work? Yeah, so the first thing you need to know is for us to execute Python file, there has to be a Python program that interprets that file. So to find it on our shell where the Python program is, just type in which Python 3. I think Python 3 is what we're using, and then you will see that Python 3 is found in our user and bin, and then inside the binary you see Python 3. Okay, so we could confirm. So I sit into my root and then I would list it, and then you see we have our user somewhere around here. Can you see user is here? So if I cd into user and then list it, you see we have our binary here. Okay, so if I cd into our binary and I list it, we have so many binary codes. So if I list every thing that starts with P, you would see we have our Python 3 here, right? So this is the program that interprets whatever we do, whatever Python code we are using. Okay, so that is why we are using this shebang line. So let me move to where we're coming from, which is cd root. From root, go to Python course, right? So we are there, and yes, so we can have a readme and say this is Python course by crypto tech coder. Okay, all right, so I'm just putting that. Okay, so when we want to execute a Python file, let's say we have a file called file1, or let me just, for us, if I list it, I have my file1, but for me to know that it is a Python file, so it is going to be easy for me. I can just rename it file1 as file1.py, telling me that it is a Python file, and then I've renamed it. Okay, so let us open file1. All right, so the first thing I'm going to say is this is a script. I want to run this file as a script, and then I want, like I said, Python is an interpreted language. So who do I want to interpret the script? Normally we used to say bin/bash before, and this is because inside the bin directory we have a program called bash, which interprets stuff that we do. For example, if I do pwd here, okay, so I'm saying that bash should interpret the pwd below. So if I can't execute this file because it is not executable. If I try it, file1.py, it will tell me that I have no permission to to execute it. So I will change the mode and I'll give it permission rights, and then I would try and execute it now. You see that it's okay, pwd printed my working directory. It's the same thing as just doing this, right? So bash is the one that interprets that, and if you check it, cd, go back to root and ls, you see bin somewhere around here. Can you see bin? And then if I cd into my bin, you see a program called bash. If I list everything that starts with b, you see we would have bash somewhere around here. Where's bash? This bash. Okay, so basically we are saying bash should interpret that script. Okay, so let's go back into our Python course. Okay, py. Alright, so let's clear and ls. So now we are saying we want our Python to interpret it, and our Python 3 is inside our user binary and Python 3. Okay, so we are saying Python 3 to execute it. So with Python 3 we can just print that, okay, print a string saying I am so good. Alright, so if we do that and we exit it and we run this file, it is executable already. You see, I am so good. If I change the interpreter to bash, bash doesn't understand the this text, right? It won't be able to interpret it. So if I say bin / bash to a bash script and try to execute it, you see that we have errors, right? So basically that command is not a command that bash should majorly execute commands that can be executed on your shell, because it's a bash shell. So all this ls would work with bash. So if I bi1 and I change the command down to ls, sorry, let me escape. Okay, let me comment out this guy. So I've commented down this guy and I do ls here. File 1, you see that it's going to list whatever we have there. Okay, so that's what bash does. And let me remove this guy back. Okay, so basically that's it, and let's change this back to user being okay, sorry, I'm supposed to remove the comment out of this guy. Alright, so with this we are good. So I hope you understand what how the Python interprets a script and its code like that. So basically that's it, and let's get to the printing format. Okay, now you're welcome back, and this is the printing format. So we're gonna create another file, var_file2.py. okay, and then we say that we want our Python file to interpret it, and it can be found in user bin and Python 3. That's where we can find it. Okay, so now we're going to create some variables. Okay, so let us create a variable storing decimal dec, and we'll give it 78 or 789. We'll have another one to store floats, and we'll give it 78 point this. And then okay, float is something that we use, so we call it float number. Okay, and then the next one will be a string. Okay, string is, let's say, I am a man. Alright, and then which other one? Okay, so we have these variables and we want to print these variables out. We want to use the print. We know that if we print print can print, if I just specify DEC, it's going to print out the number, right? So we can also print variables out using print, I'll say DEC float num and print string. Okay, so let's try this and let's change it to executable. Sorry, file 2, and let us run our file 2. Sorry, file 2. So as you can see, it printed them out by just specifying the name. So this is one way we could print. Another way we could print variable out or print some other stuff is, let us vi back into file 2, and okay, and then another way is we could just print out string directly by just saying print. So let me comment out these guys. So I'm multi-line commenting, we use 3, this and this. So I've commented that out. Okay, so printing with this one I'll call it printing with the string, the variable name. So this is one way we could print. Another one is we could print variables out using the modular method. Okay, so variables out using the modular method, or we could first print out string. Let me just show you. We could also just print out a string and say I am good. I think we could also print out a number. Print 777, and then print 47.9. So this might work and this might not work, but we'll have to check if the two will work. So if it doesn't work, it means they have to still be in a string like form. Okay, so let us try it out. And file 2, let me know if you have any question. So it works, right? So we have I am good 77 45.8. okay, so this is another method to print out string. So if we can also print string using the modular variables. So this one is printing them directly. This one we are trying to print out variables. This one we are printing stuffs directly, and then sorry, so I'll put this printing directly. Okay, and so another way to print out is to use the modular method. Okay, so to use modular method, we'll have print, and then I can just say I want to print out decimal. Remember, this is a string, and I just print the decimal is equals to what? Decimal is equal to, or is, so I want to print out DEC. So what I'll do is I'll say, because DEC is decimal, I'll say %D. I want to, this %D should be replaced with the value of this. So just like in C, then I'll come out of this place and then put a sign here, and then I'll just put DEC. Okay, telling it that I want to print out DEC. Okay, we could also print the rest, and then just print, and we could have floats underscore num, right? Floats underscore num. Oh, sorry, the floats float is, so we want to print out the float, and then that will be percent f, and then we'll come outside here, write percent, and then float none should be replaced there. Okay, we could also print out a string by saying print, and then I'll say the string is what, and I'll put percent s for string, and come outside percent, and then what is the name? String. Okay, so we could have this. So what if we want to print out the 3 at a go? So I could just say print and come here, and then we'll say string or decimal first. The decimal is equal to what is the decimal? Decimal is equal to percent d, comma, and which one? Float is equal to, let me put the equal to close to it, percent f, comma, and string is equal to percent s. That's all. Full stop. Then I'll come out here, write percent, and then the 3 things I want to print, I'll put them in a inside this bracket, and I'll say what is float, what is decimal, dec, sorry, outside dec, comma, and what is the next one? Float num, comma, and what is the last one? String. Yes, I think that's it. So we're gonna have the first 3, and then we'll have this 3. So there are still other things we could do with modular method, but this is the foundation of how it works, and let's try it out and see if it works. So let us execute file2.py. okay, we have a problem. Okay, that's supposed to be percentage, not 5. So vi, I think mistake from typing file2. Yeah, this guy is supposed to be percent, not 5. So maybe I didn't press the shift key very well. Alright, so let's try again. File2. So as you can see, we have decimal, we have what float is, we have what string is, and we have the decimal, we have the float, and we have the string. Okay, so this is how it works. So let me clear the screen and let's go back there and see other ways we could print out. So instead of using file2, I will change the file2, move file2 to string dot py, so it's going to be easy to know what we are doing there, and I will vi into the string.py. okay, so go back. So another method to print out the string is using the string format method. Okay, so before that, I'm going to comment this guy out. I'll say printing with modular method. Okay, and then I will come here, and then let's go to the next one. So the next one is we're going to be printing, let's use the single line, printing with string format method. So if you look at why this guy is called string format, it is because we have a string first. String is always in the quotes, and we have dot format. Okay, that is why it is called string format. Okay, so let's get started. So we have a print statement, and then we are going to say print print, and then we have string dot format. This is the method we want to use, and then we'll say we want to print out what's it called, the decimal. Okay, so unlike the first one where where percent d is used, so instead of percent d we're going to use a curly brace like this. We say decimal is this, and that's all. And then we'll specify what we want it to be replaced there, and then we'll say decimal is DEC. That's what we want to be replaced there. And then we can go next and then print, and then we'll say string dot format, and then we'll say decimal, and then the next one is float. So I'll say the float is, and then I'll curly braces, and then I'll specify that I want to print out float here, float now. Okay, I think my light is gone. Okay, anyway, so that's said, and then I'll print as well, and then we are going to specify string dot format, and then close it, and then I'll specify that I want to print out what's it called, I want to print out my string, and I'll say my string is this, and string would be, sorry, okay, and my string would be what's it called, open parenthesis, and my string would be string, yes, I guess. Okay, so that's it, and we can print the 3 at a go as well, and say print, and then we'll say string dot format first, and then string is what, and then we'll say our string is so we'll say, where is it, decimal is equal to, so we'll have this float is equal to, we'll have what it is, and string is equal to, so our string is supposed to have r here, it's equal to, and then we'll have this. So I think with that we are good, and then we'll specify the order in which we want to represent it. So we have DEC, and we have float underscore number, and we'll have our string just like the one above. So we'll have this as well, and then it's almost the same, but instead of using %d, we just use this guy as well, and then specify it inside this format. Okay, and one thing you should know is this, it has an index 0, 1, 2, 3. That is, we are saying that this place should, okay, so let me just copy this guy, or let's execute it first, and then I'll come back to that. So when we execute it, okay, you see that we have decimal, float, and string. We have decimal, we have float, and string, so it works. So one thing I want you to know is we could also have something like this. So let me comment out these guys. So comment out this guy, and no, not this guy, go up here, these 3 guys. So I want to copy this guy, and show you some stuff. Okay, so one other thing we could do with this guy is enter, let's go up, good, so enter this and enter this. Okay, so we have this, it's supposed to print it decimal, and then the value of float and the value of string. Okay, so another thing we could do is we could just come here, and naturally decimal value will be stored here, float value will be stored here. So in a nutshell, it is in the order 0, starting from 0, we start from 0 majorly, and then we have 1 and 2. So if I do 0 1 2, I'm saying this 0 is here, this at position 1 is here, this at position 2 is here. So if I still print out these guys, let me comment out this one for now. So if I print out the first two, you will notice that it is still the same. This guy and this guy is still the same. Okay, so it has that it has, as you can see, it is still the same. So naturally it has this order, but because it is in order, we don't need to specify this guy. So this guy, if we specify it like this, fine. If you don't, it will still work. So one thing I want you to know is that you can also change the arrangement. So for example, string is the at index number 2, right? So I can make string get replaced in decimal position, okay, in this first position. So I'll say 2 should be here, and I can say 1 should be here, or 0 should be here, and then 2 0, and decimal float should be the last. Okay, so if I try that with this guy and execute it, you see string came first, float came last, and decimal came in the middle. So we can also change the order in which it's being arranged and printed. Okay, so in the next tutorial we're going to deep dive more about modulo, about string formats, but before that we are going to also talk about another printing format, which is the fast string method. I call it fast string method, but I think it is also called I can't remember, one f string method, something like that. Okay, so we're gonna be doing I call it the fast string. It is still right, fast string method. Why it is fast string method is because even the time it takes for it to execute is faster compared to string format and modular method. Okay, so the fast string method is quite simple and it goes this way. So if you want to print out with fast string method, you just write print and then your statements. Okay, so before your fast string, as you can see from the name, fast and string, so it means that we have f, which is fast, and string, fast string. You know, string is also always in quotes, so it means that we're going to have f here. So let me comment out these guys. I can just remove this one and come here and add new one. Okay, so fast string method. So we have this fast string. So we have f and string. So your f can be in capital letter, it can be in small letter. So we have f and then string. So we say hello, and then we'll try that. Can you see? We have our hello. So we have vi string. Alright, so you can remove the f, it will still print, but fast string method in the sense that, so let's say we want to print our decimal, like the first one, we have decimal, or let me just copy these guys and use them one by one after the other. So let's copy these 3 first and paste it here. Okay, so for fast string method, instead of this string.format, we'll clear this format guy. We have our string, and then we have our curly braces, but at the beginning we just replace f there, f. So your f could be capital letter, it could be small letter, so I'm using small letter here and then capital letter here. Okay, so we have this. So this dot format, will exit it, you clear it off. So we'll clear it off. Good. So it is fast in the sense that, one, it is short to write and it is fast in speed. Okay, so we can just specify what we want to be placed inside this place directly, and I will just say dec should be here, float should be here, float num, and then I would say string should be here. Okay, so with this the fast string method would execute what we want. So string, as you can see, decimal float and string. Okay, so that's that. And then we could also do it for multiple. So vi string, and then let's just copy one of these guys. Okay, so we're almost done with this, and then we'll go to the next one. So I'll paste this guy, and then you'll see all I need to do is I'll first clean all these guys. I don't need the format. Okay, so I'll just specify that I want to print fast string method, and F, and then I'll specify the decimal here. So this one makes the code more readable and more understandable, unlike 0 and 1s here that could confuse you. You have to check which one is which one, but this one is straightforward and you can see what you are printing. DAC, I will say this one is float num, right, and this one is string, string. So the string would be string as well. Okay, so okay, so if we execute this, so we have our decimal to be 789, float to be this, and string should be that. Okay, so that will be all for this, and then I'll see you in the next one.